Today on Expert Showcase, we're going behind the episode with Femi Ogunjinmi. We're talking about finding the right partner, 3 things you need to know.
And welcome to Behind the Episode Expert Showcase. We just got done recording. I don't know, Mark. You know what's funny? We've had so much energy recording Femi's thing. I have no clue how to follow it up. I mean, this smiling guy right above me. See that big smile up there? He's got. Wait till you guys see the episode we just recorded. So for those of you who haven't joined us before, this is our behind the scenes episode. I've got our awesome interviewer over. Oops, that way, over there. Nate, Mark, up there. I can't even see him.
Somewhere
over there. We got our awesome interviewer Mark, and we have our incredible guest Femi. So we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. You're going to get a chance to know Femi a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit content marketing and have a little fun. So Mark, why don't you take it away?
I will do so. So Femi, welcome to Behind the Episode. Now, people haven't seen your episode yet, so we start behind the episode on our posts and whatnot, and we're going to show them your episode in just a couple of minutes. Before we do that, you and I are going to have a little bit of a chat here about your background, about how you promote yourself, since our audience is made up of lots of different kinds of coaches and consultants who are all out there trying to get noticed and build their businesses in the same way that we all are. While we're having our little chat, though, Chris is taking some notes that the audience can see on screen. And after a few minutes, we're going to turn it over to Chris, who's going to kind of play the role of coach consultant and give us some feedback about what he's hearing, both for our benefit and for the benefit of our viewers. Does that work for you?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's start by talking a little bit about how you got into this area. I mean, I'm sure you didn't wake up, one day and just say, hey, I'm going to go out and help people get great relationships. How did you get there?
Well, it took me a lot of years to get to this point because this is what I'm passionate about. This is what
I can tell. People are going to see that in just a couple of minutes.
So it actually occurred 10 years ago.
Okay.
My friend and I were driving to a party at a different city. So I was driving to DC, Washington, DC from Baltimore. And my friend was riding with me. So we got to this club. We had a great time. We were driving back 3 a.m. in the morning back to Baltimore. And then him and I were talking about a girl that we saw at the club. And we knew this girl and we knew everything about her. And then there was a guy that was trying to spit some game at her. And we knew this guy was just lying. And then she was just into the guy. So my friend and I were just talking like, wait a minute. I mean, this guy is full of lies, but she was taking it, she was accepting it. At the end of the day, she gave her number to the guy. So my friend and I were just discussing like, man, I think women need to know the games of men and the lies that they make. Well, guys listening right now or watching me, they'll be like, man.
They're going to be angry at me. They're going to be angry with you, Femi. You're spoiling it for them.
But I'm trying to make the life better. I'm trying to make this relationship work for people because I want people to be intimate. I want people to have that balance between their and their love life. So I think it's time that men put away those games and try to find the ideal soulmate. And for women too, if they are playing games like stuff. So basically, the idea came from that example that I gave, the scenario that I gave. I met this girl at the club. I saw that she was talking to a guy that was lying to her. And then that kind of just inspired me that, I think I need to help a lot of women, which I'm helping men as well. But that was the fire that got lit inside of me. And then wanted to just be like, wow, I need to start doing something about relationship. So I didn't quite get here overnight. It happened with few years. And then I was planning on doing like a talk show. So I started with a video. I did a pilot of that video. And then I sent it to my brother. My brother reviewed it and he was like, no, I don't think you are ready yet. I don't think you're ready yet. I don't think the world is ready to take you with open arms on this. So I put that on the board.
Sometimes we need that brutal honesty, right?
Yes, we do. So I put that on hold for about a year or two, and then later on, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to do the video. So I started throwing parties, and a friend of mine, another friend of mine, came to me, and then he said he wanted to interview me. And I said, interview about what? Because I didn't even know that he was on Blog Talk Radio. Like he had his own show.
Right.
And he told me about Blog Talk Radio, and I asked him how he's going to do the interview. He said he can just come to the club, and he would have a tape recorder, we'll record it, and then we'll play it back on his show. I'm like, really? Just like that? So the guy actually introduced me to Blog Talk Radio, where I started doing my own show. So I found that doing the Blog Talk Radio might be much easier for me than doing a video, because video is more labor intensive. It's a lot of work that goes into it. So I started doing the radio platform, because that's how I started. So I got into the radio, and I started talking about relationship to people. So
Well,
yeah.
I think you're definitely ready for video now, Femi, because seriously, your energy is wonderful. I can't imagine. I'm sure your Blog Talk radio show is wonderful, but they can't see your facial expression and your beautiful smile and this great energy that you have. So I think you are ready for prime time. You'll have to check with was it your brother or your brother-in-law?
Yeah, I gotta check with my brother. And
check with your brother. Make sure you can send him this episode and say, okay, what do you think now, bro? So I mean, I think you're ready. I think you're ready.
I would take your advice.
Yeah, but check with him first, because he was giving you good advice. So, excellent. So tell me a little. So you're on Blog Talk Radio. So you obviously understand the power and the concept of having a show and showing up regularly and being a consistent presence. How do you promote the show, first of all, and what else do you do to kind of promote your coaching practice?
Okay, so for the show, I use social media. I use my email. Over the years, when I was throwing parties, I don't throw parties anymore. When I was throwing parties, I was, fortunate enough that I knew quite a lot of people, and a lot of people know me. And before I started doing the show, I had about, I believe, 3 months to advertise, to just kind of let people know that there's something that is about to happen. So I just didn't decide that, okay, I'm going to do a show, and then started today doing the show. So I spent 3 months advertising, letting people know, maybe like twice a week or 3 times a week, I would send messages out. So I use social media, Facebook, Twitter, my email as well. So I have a lot of people that I send email to. And then my phone. So I go through my phone list. I have over 1,000 of people that I can just, text, message. And then I have an iPhone now, and got so good. I have a WhatsApp on the iPhone. So it makes, sending messages easier now versus a couple of years ago. I mean, imagine if you have to text thousands of people.
Right.
And then you have to do that a couple of days or the same day of you having your program. So that's how I started. So using social media, and then using my phone as well, email, to kind of push myself out there and let people aware. And then word of mouth also helped.
So you kind of ramped it up. You created some buzz. You got people anticipating that something cool was coming,
right.
And so they were probably ready to receive it by the time you launched the show. Excellent. Okay. So and so at this point, I mean, when you're trying to be visible, well, actually, let me back up. The next thing I'd really like to know is, how do you focus on the people you're trying to attract to your coaching practice? Who is your ideal audience, would you say? Who do you aim for? Who do you try to attract that's going to really resonate with your message?
Well, I look for the demographic. I focus on young people between the age of 27 to 45, because they can understand my material. Somebody approached me about, I think, 3 years ago. Young lady, I think at that time maybe she was like 18 or so. She was like, I listened to your show, but I couldn't get anything out of it. I said, okay, I'm not going to take an offense to that, but let me be real. Thank you for that candid statement, but let me be real with you. What I talk about cannot cover everybody. So if you're not matured enough to take it, then you cannot take it. If you are not in a position that you are looking for a partner or you have a relationship, then what I discussed cannot benefit you. So I look for people that are looking for a soulmate, or they are having issues in their relationship. And those are my target audience.
Excellent. Okay. So we talk a lot about sort of three main components in our work and with the people that we're doing work with or coaching, that people need visibility, they need to establish credibility, and then they try to position themselves as an authority. So clearly you're getting visibility. You have a show, you have a social media presence, you reach out, you connect to people. And it sounds like your show really fits very well into, the way we talk about credibility. That's about showing up and building depth to the content you're putting up there. You're not just putting one thing out there. You're back layer after layer after layer. How do you, not having listened to your show yet anyway, it sounds like I really will, because I think it's probably very entertaining as well as informative. I'm just getting that sense, Femi. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
So it's probably worth really enjoying, even if you're not looking for the soulmate at the moment or you already have one. But how do you feel that you go about really establishing a sense of credibility? Like, why should people believe Femi? Why should people listen to you about their relationship advice?
Okay, let me put it this way. God has certified me to be a relationship guru.
Okay.
If you believe in God and you understand how it works, you know that you've been called and you've been commissioned to do something. Everyone has that passion. Everyone has that gift that God has given to you. So if you are certified from God, you don't need any other certification in this world. Any other certification you get in this world is to please man, not to please God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. So the spiritual and the physical aspect of it. I've been called by God to do this. Second of all, Examiner.com named me Baltimore relationship expert. Third of all, I've been doing this for over 10 years and there have been proven results. I've been also been in a relationship for over 7 years as well. So I do this in my dream. I do this when I'm sleeping, and it's just what I love to do. So the credibility is there. The show, I've been doing the show for over 5 years now. And
so you have real depth there. Well, okay. I love your answer, Femi. I mean, your passion shows very clearly. You kind of live and breathe this. It's very clear. I love the fact that you are able to reference that the Baltimore Examiner gave you that kind of third-party stamp of approval. We were just talking with another guest about this concept of authority and the importance of getting external recognition as being a trust factor, and that's really what credibility is all about, right? And if I use the word authority with you, Femi, what's your sense of authority of establishing yourself as a relationship guru and authority figure? What does that mean to you, and what do you try to cultivate if that's important to you?
Well, authority comes from who you think is the big fish in this field, So, and then hearing a lot of buzz about that big fish. So if I was somebody like, for an example, like Oprah is an authority in her field. She has that fame, she has that name. She's been doing it. So when you're looking for authority, credibility, you also have to come with how long you've been in the game as well.
Yep.
You can't just say, 1 year I'm this, and then you call yourself an authority. Like,
right.
No, it doesn't work that way. Even if before you can become, you're a doctor, right? So it took you many years to get to that level. So it takes years, it takes time to become a figure or an authority figure in the society. So I think you got to put in time into it. You got to, if the education is there, if you can afford it, definitely go into it as well. And then see, just like you said earlier, third party, can a third party,
right. Third party,
say, this person is an authority in this field, is an SME, subject matter expert in this arena.
Love your answer, Femi. I mean, yes, you've been doing your show for 5 years. Obviously, you've got presence and depth because of that. Malcolm Gladwell talks about, that you have to do something for 10,000 hours before you become an expert at it. And that, I once sat down and did the math. I mean, that roughly works out to be full time for about 4 or 5 years. So it really makes sense. Well, Femi, I'm having so much fun. I know I'm completely losing track of time. I'm catching Chris's, facial expression out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, So we've probably been talking for 45 minutes. I don't know. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris now and stop talking. But honestly, I'm really enjoying this conversation. You're a fun person to talk to. It's very clear that people are going to enjoy your show and they need to get connected with you. But without further ado, let me bring this back to Chris and have Chris give us some feedback, because he's probably got about 30 pages of notes at this point.
Well, so first of all, awesome episode, Femi. You guys, for those of you, and Mark, it's the woman in the brown couch on the brown recliner again. I thought it's a recliner.
She's got to pay attention. This is for her.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to love this episode. You on the black couch, maybe not so much. You might be able to go get some popcorn, but for you, the brown recliner, yep, you right there, you're going to love this episode. Femi, great episode, a lot of energy. In full disclosure to our audience, I was actually on Femi's show last year, and in fact, Femi, now that my next book will be out a little later on this year called Finding Your Zero Point. I'd love to talk to you about coming back on and doing another thing on your radio show as well. We can talk about that offline, because it's just amazing. You were talking about Wired, and it's just awesome. I got way too much energy now, Mark. I gotta. If Femi's energy is contagious, I gotta throttle it back. So here's what I love, though. You're passionate about helping people with their relationships, and that seeing somebody in a bad situation is what lit the fire inside of you to kind of help them out. I mean, it's a lot like Steve Harvey. I mean, Steve Harvey's gone out. His big platform right now is really helping women understand guys better. And it's amazing. It's really something that's needed. And I tell Mark all the time that, let's face it, the majority of, even the majority of people that we end up interacting with seem to fall in seem to be women at some point. We have a lot of great male guests that come on the show. But it's great being able to help women succeed from a guy's point of view, because we believe that women should be empowered and they should succeed. So it's great that you also took that spin. That's kind of what I'm trying to get out, is the fact that you looked at it and said, look, it's not right what the woman's going through. She's getting basically played, and let's figure out a way to be able to help them not get played. So I think that's great. I love the fact that you talk about time for men to put away the games. And it's like, because games don't benefit anybody, right, Femi?
Yes. It doesn't. It does not benefit anybody. I mean, when you look at it, you play so many games, you end up falling in love with the wrong person.
Right.
And at the end of the day, and then it's going to cost you when you get down the road and the relationship is not working out, and you got to divorce, you got to spend money on lawyers, and you got to go to court, and you got to take days off from your work. I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, let's just do what is right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because this all also leads into, one of the other things I should say that I really enjoyed was when you talked about how you promote yourself and you spend your time on social media, your email list, and when you start talking about the phone and WhatsApp, I mean, that Mark is brilliant. And I'm going to go to Mark for a second. Mark, that is just brilliant, because we've never heard anybody talk about that. But it's a great way of interacting on a personal level. We always talk about what content creators and show producers and talk show hosts and people who are doing what we're doing need to do is worry about creating the content. I mean, we're here to help the automation on the back end, but you need to be worried about creating the content, and you need to be worried about talking to people and interacting on a personal level. So it's great that you're using, the phone and just getting out there. I think some of that probably comes from your party planning days, because that's what you have to do as a promoter, right? I mean, I come from the entertainment business too, and it's, that's what you've got to do as a promoter and a planner is, you've got to get out and you've got to get people in the door, right?
Yes, you gotta do the talk. You gotta talk to them. Yeah. Sometimes you can say, all right, I'll let you in for free just to get that buy-in. But when you plan the next party, they're paying that money to get in.
Exactly. And the other interesting thing I wanted everybody to realize is something that we kind of glossed over a little bit, but I want people, especially the woman on the purple couch is back, Mark. She's back. She's tuned in and watching.
Good.
Spent 3 months promoting before you started the show. Now, I want everybody to really think about that. Femi spent 3 months promoting before he started the show to create a buzz. Look, everybody wants to be the overnight sensation. And I'm going to give you a secret. even the people you think are overnight sensations spent a lot of time investing in themselves, investing in systems, investing in other things to get there. Michael Hyatt is one of probably the best and most visible examples. The guy was pretty much running one of the major publishing companies, and it took him, I think it was 2 to 3 years after he left as a CEO for him to start being recognized for telling people how to build a platform and to write a book and other things. Now, wait a minute, let's think about that for a second. He had all of what you would think that it should be able to hit, boom, leaves a CEO, he becomes successful. He wasn't even an overnight success. So if somebody like a Michael Hyatt or if somebody like Femi, somebody great like Femi isn't an overnight success, how can any one of us watching this or listening expect to be an overnight success? You got to put that away for a second and realize that when you do what is right, the good things will happen to you, and you just got to keep at it, right, Femi?
Absolutely. And there's one thing that I didn't mention earlier. I just published my book, Revelations of Relationship.
Excellent.
What you don't know about finding true love and sustaining your relationship. So those two things are important, finding true love and sustaining that relationship as well. So if you go on, this is what I'm going to do. For the viewers, I'm going to give out 2 free books, 2 of my free books. I know we didn't talk about this earlier.
Go for it, Femi, please.
But I so enjoyed this interview so much. I just want to help out the viewers. So if they can send me a message to gfem@gfemspeaks.com, and I'm hoping Chris and Mark, you guys will probably put that link up there, gfem@gfemspeaks.com. Send me a message and I will mail you 2 books, an autograph.
Awesome. That's very generous of you, Femi. And you're holding out on us. I didn't realize that you already had a book, because that falls into one of the things that we talk about in terms of authority, because of course the word authority comes from the word author. And when you have written the book on your area of expertise, you are literally by definition an authority. So
That's right.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your generosity. That's great. So, everyone, you heard him. Right now, hurry up. There's only 2. So gfem@gfemspeaks.com. All right, too late. They're gone.
I put it in the I put it in the notes so people see it up on the screen at this point. So a couple things I want to get to.
Chris, the lady on the purple couch, she just got it. So
she did awesome. Way to go, lady on the purple couch. You're the best. So a couple things I want to, couple more comments I want to make, and then I want to get into at least 1 or 2 more last questions. First of all, I loved how you answered the question about what gives you the authority. I personally love the fact that you started off with God saying, look, it's, God's given me kind of the anointing, so to speak, and, everything else is just man's way of saying I'm good. I believe that's one of the things that gives you the confidence and gives you the energy that you have, because let's face it, whether it's God or another higher power, and one of the things I think I talked about on your show, and I talk about on every show when I speak, about religion, is look, everybody has to believe in some higher power, something greater than themselves. It might be God, it might be Jesus, it might be, let's face it, it might be another God, it might be the universe. I believe that just like you, if you believe in something greater than yourself, it kind of gives you, that energy. If you believe and you realize, because if that energy, if that being is for you, as they say, who can be against you, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. I love the fact that you have the three legs there, where you've got your faith, you've got Examiner.com, which is a reputable website and a reputable organization, and then 10 years of a positive track record. So that's awesome. So what I want our viewers to really take out of that is have the things that you need to get you through the dark times, because let's face it, as you're coming up, there's going to be some struggles, and you need certain things to to boost you. And I could go into I don't have my command of time today to really go deep into that, but let's face it, I think that's another episode, Mark. I think we've got like 12 more episodes we can create off of all this stuff.
I think we could just keep doing a whole show with Femi, and we'll just we'll keep everyone engaged and entertained for years to come.
I think you're right. The last thing I want to say before I ask you a question is I love what you said about the authority is the big fish in the field, and it kind of dawned on me, Mark, that as we're helping people build authority, that really that is the end result of being the authority in a niche is you become the big fish. We're all swimming around as little fishes right now. You know what? There's a goldfish. A goldfish is now watching us. He heard I said fish, big fish. He's looking for the trout or the piranha. We're in trouble. Look out, goldfish behind you. Oh, goldfish bit it. He's gone.
He's not the big fish anymore.
Yeah, goldfish is not the big fish anymore. So I love how you put it, that it's the big fish in the field. So excellent. I've got a quick question for you, Femi, and we're going to put you on the spot here. You do a lot to promote your radio show. You do a lot to promote your book. You do a lot to promote yourself, which is great. From a video standpoint or a content marketing standpoint, is there any question, like when we set up this interview and you heard what we were about, there might have been a question rolling around, or over the weeks before we got a chance to record you might have had a question on video or content marketing. Any one question come to your mind that we might be able to answer right now that would help you and the piranha that just ate the goldfish?
Well, I'm glad you even brought that up, because as I said earlier, I wanted to start by doing a web blog or a webinar, and my brother kind of, I don't want to say shut it down.
No, he just said you weren't ready yet.
I just was, I was not ready. So let's put it that way. I was not ready. But now, I've not really explored that video technology very well. Once in a while, I do like videos from my phone, just talk about relationship for about 2-3 minutes, not to bore people for that long. And then I will just send it out, tweet it out, send it on different on the social media. And sometimes I will record myself in my studio as well, and I will put it out there. But now that you guys are doing this video thing going on, which I love very much, just seeing people, and then you can just engage, because I love that. That personal approach, that you can see somebody and you can just have that dialogue, versus you talking to somebody over the phone. It's quite different. It's a different ball game entirely. So how do you guys do what you do now? I mean, how does it work? So if I were to do like a video show, what would be the best approach?
Yeah, that great question. And I guess it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Understand your content, be able to speak your content, and then log into the virtual recording studio. A usually easy process that gets you on. When we work with people, we have the content creators focus on creating their content. We also work with them to help them structure the content so it's easy, in a very easy to use, easy to disseminate format. In other words, when you came on Expert Showcase, we sent you a little form that had you fill out and say, okay, give us a key talking point and the 3 keys to success. When we create shows with people, it just gets expanded to each month. We take 4, we basically take 4 milestones on a core problem and 3 keys to success within each milestone. Content creator comes on, logs into the virtual recording studio, and then we sit down and have a conversation. And the beauty is while you're an incredible show host and you can hold your own, for people who can't, Mark's on the screen interviewing them, and it turns into a conversation. Mark plays the part of the audience so that you and he are going back and forth, just having a conversation about the core problem area that your clients are experiencing, the 4 milestones to get them from the untenable present to the fantastic future, and the 3 keys to success within each milestone. And then on the back end, so that's the front end, and on the back end, we've automated the entire process of going out and getting out to social media, so that once again, all you're worried about is doing what you do best, which is creating content, talking about your content, and then once the content's out there, you're interacting on a personal level on social media, and your content is out there doing the work for you. Does that give you a good high-level overview?
Yes, absolutely. I think I understand it better now, and probably finding a different technology to kind of bring this out. I mean, because I'm thinking about using Skype or probably something else out there, because I don't know what other technology people use to kind of produce their shows.
Well, and one more thing I'm going to throw in real quick is if you had your own show where you were interviewing all the guests and everything, the beautiful part about the system we've set up is it works exactly the same. You would pretty much be in Mark's box. You would have your guest come on, and he'd be in your box where you are right now, and you and your guests would be having a conversation. So the beautiful part is that the reason we supply Mark when we work with clients initially is a lot of our clients are a little bit nervous about being on camera, and they're more comfortable when they're in a conversation. But when we have experienced show hosts like yourself, we create a show around you so that you're the host, you're doing the interviewing, and then you've got your guest on. Your guest comes on and they log in, and we use the same virtual recording studio. So let me keep this short, and then Mark, I'm going to see if you have any other feedback. I'm going to keep this short. We take all the stress off worrying about the technology and everything else. If you're hosting a show, it's kind of like Blog Talk Radio. You just dial in, you just show up, dial in, and that's all you've got to worry about. And then even, we could talk later about, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but just the same process that we used to book you on the show on Expert Showcase.
Exactly.
You've got, that we provide that to show hosts. So once again, it ends up, I dare say it almost becomes easier than Blog Talk Radio, because we handle all of the, when your guest wants to book, we give them a booking form, they get all the follow-up reminders. You don't have to worry about any about that. You just know your day and time you're going to record. You show up, we do the recording, and you worry about, of course you worry about promoting it to get guests, but
right.
Then you do what you do best. So does that kind of all make sense?
Sweet. Yeah, it does. I like the process, and I like you guys created that forum that you gave to me. I mean, it kind of structure, my thought process as well, as in how do I get this information to my audience, or to your audience, your viewers, in a way that is meaningful to them, and not lose them in one way or the other.
Right, exactly. Mark, did you have anything to add or summarize?
The shortest version is exactly what Femi just said, which is that Femi has already experienced it. That's really part of the reason that we created Expert Showcase in the first place, is so that you can literally experience what it's like to organize your content with a simple form, book your appointment, get things recorded, get it out there. And so, for those who are watching, Chris is about to tell you in a couple of seconds here about how you can apply to actually be a guest on Expert Showcase as well, so that you don't even have to try to understand it all. You can actually experience it, and then you will absolutely understand, as Femi has just experienced. We're about to show the episode that we created with Femi, which is the outcome of this very simple process of coming in, getting your thoughts into an organized format, having it structured, and just then coming in and having a quick conversation, and boom, you have a piece of great content that comes out of it. So
exactly. Well, before we kind of wrap up, Femi, I'll go Mark first, and then to Femi. Mark, do you have any other comments before I get the ado before the ado? Okay. And Femi, do you have any last words of wisdom for today to share with our viewers?
Yes, relationship is beautiful. It is beautiful. I've been in it for many years. I enjoy it, and it's just something to have. Now, if you're not in a relationship, it's not a curse. As a matter of fact, you should love yourself first before you can love somebody else. Because if you don't love yourself first, there is no love you can give to somebody. You can't give somebody what you don't have. So love yourself first, build yourself, know who you are, and follow those 3 steps that I provided, which is based on that word, who, where you hang out, how do you dress, out of all of your friends, which one has a better image or influence on you. And I wish you good luck in your relationship.
Excellent. So if you like that was a very quick preview of what Femi's about, what we're about to show you in Femi's episode. For all of you who like me have struggled with relationships, you want to stick around. I'm going to watch it again while we roll the tape. You want to stick around and watch Femi's episode. If you're a coach or consultant and realize that being a guest on Expert Showcase can help give you a great piece of content and help propel your business forward, then what you want to do is go to expertshowcase.com, click on the apply button. You're going to fill out a quick form. It was quick and easy to apply to become a guest, right, Femi?
Yes, it was quick, easy. I love the whole process. You guys are great. You guys are genius.
Thank you very much.
You're making me blush, Femi.
Exactly. I'm already blushing. So coaches and consultants, if you'd like to be a guest, go out and click on that apply button, fill out the easy quick application, send it off to us. We'll take a look at it, and if we all feel it's a good fit, we'll come back, have you as a guest and our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. And finally, if you're a coach or consultant and realize that the power of video and the power of having your own internet talk show will increase your visibility, deepen your credibility, and make you the authority in your niche, then head out to VideoContent.Agency, go to the Services tab, check out the packages we have to offer, get in contact with us, and let's see if we're a good fit to work together. And until we meet again, Mark, I'm going to roll the tape.
Today on Expert Showcase, our expert is Femi Ogunjinmi, who is going to be talking about finding the right partner. 3 things you need to know. Femi, welcome to Expert Showcase. We're so glad to have you on the show. This is going to be an exciting show. I mean, relationships are obviously important things in everyone's lives. But give me first of all, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Mark.
Glad to have you. So for the sake of our viewers, give us a quick overview of what we're going to be focusing on and talking about in today's episode.
Absolutely. I'm going to be sharing with your viewers how they can find the ideal partner. There are 3 things or 3 steps that they can take to meet that ideal mate. And
Excellent.
Those steps, once they take them, it will avoid them from being single for the rest of their lives, being neurotic, if there is somebody out there for them or not.
Well, that sounds excellent. I know there are a lot of people who just perked up their ears and are paying attention. So we talked about in getting ready for the show that we're going to cover these 3 things. So I'm just going to state them real quickly so people know where we're going to go, and then we'll go through them one at a time. So the 3 things are where you hang out is critical, how you dress, and then out of all of your friends, which one has a good image in public. So Femi, take me through these. So the first one, where you hang out. Why is this an important thing when you're working with your clients to help them really have the relationship of their dreams?
Absolutely. Where you hang out matters a lot because attraction is the first thing that you look at when you're trying to do anything. For an example, you go to the mall, you're trying to buy an expensive clothes or an average clothes. You buy that clothes because you're attracted to it. Now, once you buy the clothes, you have to attract somebody with that clothes, right?
Right.
Once you put that clothes on, you go different places. So if you're trying to meet an ideal person, it depends on where you go.
Right.
So for an example, if I'm looking for somebody that is of the same belief as I am, I'm a Christian, and someone that serves God, someone that is into church. For me to find that ideal person, I must go to church because that is where the person will most likely be or hang out. So if I go to church, I will see this person. You know, the person might be singing or be an usher or be volunteering in any different department. So where the person hangs out matters a lot. So, and before you do that, you also got to write down a couple of things. What do you find in an ideal partner? Or what are you looking for in a soulmate? So once you write those things down, they can kind of guide you where this person might be. Earlier I said, if I'm looking for somebody that is Christian of the same faith, where would I find this person? So if I'm writing 5 things down, one of the 5 things I'm writing down is I need a Christian person. The person must be in church. The person must be serving the same God as I am. Then that guides me to know that, okay, this is where I need to be hanging out more. I need to be spending most of my time in church so that I can position myself to meet this ideal person that I'm looking for.
Well, you know, it sounds so obvious when you say it, Femi, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought it through in quite a strategic way like that. But it makes perfect sense, of course, if you've really started thinking through the criteria. So if I'm like a health food nut, I obviously don't want to meet people hanging out at McDonald's, right? It just doesn't make sense. I want to go hang out at Whole Foods, you know, or something like that, or the local co-op or something like that. And your faith-based example is perfect as well, obviously. If I want to exercise, then maybe I should join an exercise group, right? So, I love it. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so obviously people need to focus on where they hang out, but where they hang out, if you're going to be strategic, is based also on thinking through who you're looking for, who you're looking to connect with, and who you're going to meet. So you used the example of clothing. So let's then move on to your second point, which is how you dress. Talk to me about how you coach the people you work with on dress and how that impacts their choice of their future, partner for life.
How you dress is another critical point. It's a critical step that people need to understand, because the way you dress is the way you're going to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And people say don't judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately, people do judge a book by its cover.
Even on Amazon, they say absolutely spend time on your cover, because the cover is the only thing people see at first, right? So they are going to judge you by your cover.
That's right. That's what brings that attraction. That's what makes people say, all right, this person is a professional. This person is not a professional. This person knows what he or she is talking about. This person looks attractive to me. So if you dress in a nice way, mm-hmm. in a way that is decent enough, for somebody like me, you might be attracted to me because that's what I'm looking for. So it follows that first step of where you hang out. You hang out in the right place. You're attracting the right person. The person feels like, well, if I'm going to be with someone that goes to church, you must dress in this way. You see, you can't be revealing your body. So for someone that goes to church, I believe they don't open too much. They don't reveal their body too much. So you attract that person by doing that. So how you dress is very important, because if you are looking for someone that is conservative, do you dress in a conservative way or not? If you are looking for somebody that goes to a strip club, then you might probably want to dress, like a stripper, because you are that person.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Femi, it's very, very smart, because, people don't necessarily think about it this way, but your dress is a form of communication, right? I mean, you're saying something by your presentation. If you show up in cutoff shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, for a business meeting, you're not quite in sync with the atmosphere that you're coming to. So dress conservatively, you're going to attract conservative people. Dress in a flamboyant way, and you're probably going to attract flamboyant people, right? Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so now we've got you hanging out in the right place. We've got you appropriately dressed for your target market, essentially, because let's face it, finding the right person is a form of marketing, isn't it? I mean, you're trying to craft a message, and you're trying to deliver that message to the right people, right? It
is, and you can look at it from that angle of marketing, because you have to market yourself to the right audience, to the target audience. So who is your audience? So for an example, I was talking about, finding how to find the right partner. Where do you hang out?
Right.
So if you're trying to market yourself to the ideal audience, you must know where your audience is.
Exactly.
So you can better locate them, and then market or advertise to them, and position yourself or pitch that business ideas to them.
Right. And then you're going to dress the part to try to attract the person's eye, literally, to you as a person that they want to meet and connect with. So that takes us then to your third point, which is thinking about, of all of your friends, which one has the best image in public. So what are you getting at here when you're talking to your own clients?
Mark, I'm sure you've heard of this adage, birds of the same feather flock together.
Right.
So what that is saying is, if you hang out with the right people, mm-hmm. you will most likely attract the right people. If you hang out with the wrong people, you'll most likely attract the wrong people. Now, let me lay an example. So if you have three people with you, three friends with you, and you have a girl looking at you,
right?
And say, Mark, I don't know who he is, but I know who Chris is, and I know who John is. I know these two are crazy. I can't say anything good about both of them. Now, I'm looking at Mark. Mark is who I want. But because I know Chris and John, that they have bad characters, they have bad names, they don't have good image, I'm going to use that to judge who Mark is.
That's right.
So right there off the back, I'm not even going to have a conversation with Mark anymore. I'm just going to say, forget Mark, because Mark is going to be like Chris. It's the same thing as John. So that is the same way it works. You have to look at the circle of friends that you keep.
Mm-hmm.
How are they benefiting you? What is their image outside? What are people saying about them? If they had bad influence, if they had bad characters, if they had, people don't say good things about them, then you're not in the right circle of friends.
Right.
So you need to leave that nucleus and find another person, or you look at somebody in that 3 people or friends that you have and say, you know what, this is the right person that I think is most influential in a positive way, that people know that if I'm rolling with this person, you can give me some credibility.
Right.
So associate yourself with that person. And then somebody that wants to date you or wants to be with you can say, well, because I know this person, I can then talk to this other person, because this person that I know has a better character, has a better image. People say good things about that person. So that is just the same concept of the way it works when you're trying to find the ideal partner.
Well, it makes perfect sense, Femi, because it's a logical extension of your first 2 points: where you are, how you look, and then the people you surround yourself with, again, is a form of communication, right? These are my guys, these are my people, or this is my posse, right? These are the
That's right.
They sort of vouch for me just by being around me.
Yeah.
And there's an added benefit, right, Femi, which is that, of course, they might introduce me to the right person because we're all in the same circle, and so it's kind of by extension they may have connections of similar people that I'm going to be compatible with, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like saying if I were single now and I have a lot of friends that are married, well, I'm looking forward to somebody that I can also get married to. So I'm in the right circle of friends because they know single people that, they are looking for the same thing as well. So it's easy that way, that when you surround yourself with people of positive mind or people that, like-minded, you definitely get the right people or the right person, that you are looking for.
Makes perfect sense. And I'm really enjoying, I hadn't really thought about it before we started this conversation, how absolutely in harmony everything you're talking about in terms of, coaching people about relationships is so much the same as marketing. Never thought about it, but it makes perfect sense, of course, because you are marketing yourself. You are the product, and you are trying to connect to someone that you want to spend time with. It makes perfect sense. Well,
that's the way it works, Mark.
Absolutely. So I'm about to tell people how they can get in touch with you, Femi, because I think there's probably at this point a bunch of people who want to get in touch with you because I think you have a great attitude, a great energy, and I think you have a great philosophy here. So we've been talking with Femi here about finding the right partner, 3 things that you need to know. And in those 3 things, we've been covering that it's important to pay attention to where you hang out. It's important to really pay attention to how you dress and present yourself. And then who you surround yourself with is the 3rd point in terms of and if you combine these 3 things, what's going to happen, Femi? If we combine these 3 things.
You're going to get the letter word OO. W-H-O. W-H-O. OO. So, it's very easy to remember. It's just an acronym: where you hang out, how you dress, out of all your friends, which one has the right image or which one has a better influence on you.
Excellent. It's the WHO system.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Femi, if people want to get in touch with you, here's a couple of ways they can do it. You obviously have a website. It is gfemspeaks.com. So that's gfemspeaks.com. Your email is gfem@gfemspeaks.com if people want to reach out and connect with you directly. And you're also on social media. Your Facebook handle is gfem. So if people just go to Facebook and search gfem, they will find you. I tested that. I know it works. And if you go to Twitter, you are at GFEM Radio on Twitter. So these are all great ways that people can connect with you. They should connect with you. I think you can really help them find the person of their dreams with this strategic approach. So, Femi, it's been great. I've had a lot of fun talking with you. It's I didn't know exactly what I was going to learn here, and I learned a ton. So I appreciate you being our expert guest today here on Expert Showcase.
Mark, thanks for having me. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you. And another great Expert Showcase episode. Chris, what should people do right now?
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're a coach or consultant, imagine what it would do for you and your business if you were a guest on Experts Showcase. And here's the best part. Other than possibly increasing your business, an appearance on Experts Showcase is free. We give you a copy of your episode so you can use as marketing collateral, and we give you a coaching session to go along with it to tell you how you can best market your episode and other tips and tricks about your business. So what you want to do is head on over to expertshowcase.com, click on the big yellow apply button, and apply to be our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. Now, if you're a coach or consultant and you've already imagined what having your own internet talk show will do for you, then we want you to head to VideoContent.Agency and check us out, check our packages out, and get in contact with us. Let's see if we're a good fit, and let's see if we're the ones to produce you and make you the next star and have your own internet talk show. And until next time, Mark, anything else?
I couldn't have said it any better, so just do what he said.